Hello and welcome back to the Women Making Herstory series. I am your host today, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And I want to thank you for tuning in and taking part in this extraordinary series where we've been fortunate enough to celebrate, honor, and give you access to 31 women who are visionaries making herstory. And the thing I know is every single one of us is making herstory. And the more that we can share with the world what we're up to, our hearts, our spirits, and our desires for the world and for ourselves, that's how we come together as women. So thank you for being part of this. Today, I get to introduce you to an extraordinary woman who's making herstory in lots of ways. Reverend Samora Smith is our guest today, and I am so grateful you found the time to be with us. Hello, my friend.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Oh, it's so good. So Reverend Samora Smith is here today, and she's also known as the Love Smith. And let me share a little bit about her background with you. And as we dive into today's story and how she's been making her story, I know that you'll be intrigued and surprised on the path that brought her to exactly where she is now. So listen closely. So Reverend Samora Smith is an award-winning and highly acclaimed wedding officiant and interfaith minister in New York City. She's a 9-time recipient of the Wedding Wire's Couples Choice Award and the Knot's Best of Weddings. These are very high honors to receive in that industry. She's also includes an induction into the Honorable Hall of Fame. Reverend Samora's weddings have graced the covers of People magazine and UK's popular OK magazine, and she's been featured frequently around in the New York Times. She has married and counseled over 1,000 couples since the start of her company, Common Ground Ceremonies, in 2011. Reverend Samora is an author, a keynote speaker, a certified NLP practitioner, which is the psychology of success, and a hypnotherapist. And with many years' experience counseling and working with couples and preparing for one of the most important days of their lives and beyond. And that's one of the things I love about you, that and beyond part. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so it's really an honor to have you with us. And as I think about just in this moment, the fact that you have married over 1,000 couples, like,
it's amazing.
it is amazing. And the fact that you get to be a part and contribute your energy, your spirit, and your guidance on this most important day of their lives, like setting couples up for success is like, what a lucky job you have.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, and there's not, it's a very specific market to serve, So I'm curious, how did you get up? Did you, as a little girl, say, "I always want to be a wedding officiant"?
No, not exactly. It was funny because I actually was on my own spiritual path around my early 20s, and when I had my children, I was born into a multi-faith, multi-background, family coming from New York City, of course. And because we were not religious, I was so curious to know what all of the different, faiths really meant. So I enrolled in seminary, and it was an interfaith program, and I learned so much from it. So after becoming ordained, a friend of mine who was getting married, and we were both like 8.5 months pregnant at the time, both of us.
Wow.
She insisted that I do her wedding, and after that, it changed me. I felt like I had found something, that led me closer to my life's purpose, honestly. And it wasn't so much marrying people as much as it was being part of a movement of bringing people of all faiths together, of LGBT couples. That's really where my passion for officiating really was sparked, was from the LGBT community.
Wow. It's that, and that's beautiful to, like, I get goosebumps as you're talking about this and fulfilling your purpose. And what it sounds like to me, and I see this as a common thread for many, many people, women especially, that are following their path. You started on your own personal spiritual journey to see, what could make me feel more fulfilled. And in that process, this purpose path revealed itself.
Yeah. And I really just kept feeling called to serve, and I didn't know what that meant. When my children were younger, my two older children, I was raising my oldest son, my first child. He's on the autistic spectrum. So I myself was very humbled by that experience, because, you're pregnant, you're excited, you're about to have this beautiful child, and you don't plan on there being, a conversation with a medical person or anyone telling you, oh, there's a delay in your child's development, or there may be something.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you have all this expectation. So the one thing I definitely learned in my life is the piece that I practice gratitude in everything and in every moment. So if I can bring more people into a loving space and support them through a more loving relationship to themselves and to the world, I feel that that's really something I learned from raising, my children.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And that really did bring me to this path.
Wow, that's awesome. So I'm curious, I'm going to ask, another question of you. Of the 1,000 couples, you have probably seen couples that, in that moment, they're so happy. And there's a lot of stress around getting married. And maybe some couples who were going to get married that, runaway bride took place, like that didn't make it all the way.
Yeah.
And as I see, you are a certified NLP, neuro-linguistic practitioner, as well as a hypnotherapist. Share with me some of why you've added those tools as ways to serve people.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, when I was at a wonderful WPN retreat this
Mhm.
past summer, I worked with Dr. Yvonne Oswald, who is a teacher of this amazing, work.
My teacher too, and part of the series.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it was like, when you have those light bulb moments of like, oh, I'm supposed to learn that. I'm supposed to work with that person. And that led me to this path of hypnotherapy as well as NLP. But on a deeper level, it was a, a way to also expand my tool set and my ability to go deeper with people in a way that feels really, really natural to me.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it's not just counseling. It's like, let's really work on the stuff that makes, that brings real, true meaning to our lives, as opposed to, going through the motions of what we do every day. So I
Mhm.
was so excited, and I am really excited to bring these modalities into what I do, because when a couple comes to me and I see any sort of imbalance or anything that they might be challenged with, I immediately feel like, wow, well, if you're open to it, let's explore that. And these tools have really brought me to a great place with that.
Beautiful. And what a great place to be able to serve your clients.
Yes.
Because, what I was thinking and wondering about is, out of these 1,000 couples that you've actually married, have there been some along the way that didn't quite make it till the altar?
I'm sure. Yes. Not many of them.
Because they had the love smith in their life. So get that.
I mean, the thing is that, you know, sometimes when I've even met with them in the early stages of their planning, I have felt like, wow, are they really ready? So, I mean, I've never had a conversation that discouraged anyone from getting married. However, you can kind of see the signs, and I find that luckily most of the couples that have hired me or worked with me have really like made that decision in they've been together like 5 or more years already. So
Yeah,
I find that,
yeah.
yeah, and I think that in today's world, people are being smarter about their decisions.
Mhm.
I applaud all my millennials that, they really know how to take care of themselves. And there's not this impulsive need to couple up. They really want to find themselves first, and then their relationships last a lot longer. And I think the statistics are showing that now.
Wow, that's beautiful, beautiful. So talk to me a little bit more about that and our viewers. They're taking the time to get to know themselves first before coupling up. Can you just talk about that a little bit more?
Yes, I believe that we're in more of a time where people, well, I think from a realistic point of view, most people, if you're going to be in a couple, you both need to work. So I think most people are really thinking about careers, thinking about foundations before, planning out the rest of their life.
Mhm.
So I'm finding that even people that have met in high school and have been together since high school are still very, very set on, let's graduate from college, let's get our finances in order, and then let's get married. And I'm like so impressed, because most of the people in their late 20s, I'm like, wow, you've been together since high school and now you're getting married. And it's really, they're thinking these things through.
I love it. I love it. And you know what it reminds me of is, going way back in time from a woman's perspective, there was kind of the path for a woman going back to the 50s, 60s, and all of that
Mhm.
is, you're supposed to find a husband and find happiness in someone else. And
Correct.
and that kind of happiness in someone else doesn't really last, right?
Well, interestingly that you would bring that up. Actually, my grandmother, my mother's mother, unfortunately, my grandfather passed away in at a time when women were not really in the workplace, and the household structure was very much run by the male. And my grandmother had two daughters, one being my mom, and they were in their early teens when this happened. And it was really quite life changing. My grandmother had to go out into the workplace, and as a result, my mother really struggled with her role in the family, because I think my grandmother became more dependent on her to
Ah,
be an emotional support to her. And she was only 13, 14 years old. So I've had a lot of amazing role models in my family of women. And I've definitely watched my mom, especially because she had a single mother at a time when no one was single, and, she was a widow. However, my mom also had this, belief that you can't depend on someone else to bring happiness to your life, or you can't depend on anyone else to take care of you for the rest of your life. And I guess through our life lessons, whether it's through loss or tragedy, that, this is how, I was raised as well. It's very interesting.
awesome, awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit. I'm asking everybody, who is a woman in history who had a profound impact on you? Sounds like your mom may have, and your grandmother.
Oh, yeah, no, the women in my family are quite amazing, honestly. However, I'm always really profoundly moved by Maya Angelou. She's one of my favorite people, and whenever I think of, a reference point of a strong woman with wise words, I always refer back to her. And one of the quotes that she said that always sits with me in business especially is that people may not remember what you do, they may not remember what you say or what you've said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So I'm always carrying that with me, that, it's always about, how you've touched people, and always lead with creating an impact, a positive impact in people's lives.
Sounds a little like being the one.
Yeah, it does.
Again, great alignment, great alignment.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. One of my favorites as well. And what's been really enjoyable throughout this series is every woman is talking about a different woman in her history who's made an impact. You know, so in addition to their parent, the people, their mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, you know, it's a real eye opener, and gratitude for me, all the amazing women such as yourself making her story. So thank you so much.
So are you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful for the attunement and alignment that, you know, that I've had with you and the whole network.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I feel it too. I feel it too. And I bet our viewers do as well. All of our amazing contributors to the series have free gifts for you. So would you describe what the free gift is? And then you can click on the button right on this page.
Yes, so it's very exciting. I'd love for all of you to experience this. I created something called the 7-day prescription for self-love. And really what it is, it's a opportunity for you to take one task every day for 7 days that brings you more in alignment with how you're taking care of yourself and how you are bringing more love into your life. And everyone that's done the program so far has really enjoyed it. It's just little bits and pieces, so it doesn't require a lot of time. But it's a nice daily reminder for a week to, you know, that you deserve love, and that, you know, we should really always be, you know, in tune with that, and be, you know, aware of that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I've had the pleasure of going through it, and feeling self-love is the place from which everything needs to emanate.
Yes.
You know, and especially as women with our natural inclination towards nurturing, let's nurture ourselves. And
correct. And I think it's you know, it's a phrase that's used a lot lately. I notice it everywhere. What exactly is self-love? And the one thing that I wanted to accomplish with this prescription is really practical ways, not just theory, you know, that, yeah, we all understand we need to love ourselves, but how? What does that mean exactly? And that means something different for each person. So it's a way to also explore and bring it into your life in a realistic way, as opposed to having this big, you know, thing to accomplish. You know, loving ourselves is definitely just as important as loving others. It's like it's all connected.
It is. All right. Well, I love you. I am so grateful to you, my friend. Thank you for being with us today. You're welcome. All right, my dears, all you awesome viewers out there, be sure to give yourself some extra love. If you can open an email for 7 days, one little tiny email for 7 days, you will feel expansive love for yourself. And she gives such beautiful little ways to incorporate that in your already busy life, you know, so it's real easy. So click on the link, and then be sure to check your inbox again. We've got a few more interviews coming your way, and it's been my absolute pleasure to be sharing this time with you, bringing you extraordinary women like Reverend Samora, the Lovesmith. And by the way, if you're going to get married or one of your kids is, reach out to her. You know, 10-time award winning. She's amazing. So I think I might have to get married in New York City or fly you to Italy when that man comes along. So let's keep that in mind.
Yes, definitely.
That's a good vision. I said it. It's out in the world. Okay. Thank you, Samora. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
All right. Beautiful. And to all our viewers, we'll be back again. Be sure to check your inbox. Have a beautiful day. Bye now.